still okay. We are on the air. All right, so we're getting started a little bit late, and we are still waiting for a few people to join. I'm not going to do the whole "Hey, welcome to the Keepers Fellowship" round thing and introduce everybody. I figure if anyone's actually watching this, they've already seen the previous episodes, so they know who we are. If we have new people join, we'll have them introduce themselves. You guys okay with that?
Yeah, works for me.
I'm good.
Yeah, so we all know who our characters are. And if somebody's actually watching this, I know when I'm watching other people do this sort of thing, I get a little tired of hearing the character introductions every 30 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, let me put my notes here real quick.
Everybody stand up and say something about yourself.
Yeah, introduce yourself to the class. So, a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Well, one, our Wizard Bane hasn't joined us yet. I may have an alternate playing him, but we need to figure out what his 2 advancements are going to be. We'll figure that out later. Mithril, you've already picked your level 5 advancement, so I can knock that off the board. We have a couple of moves surrounding your playbook, which are I'm here for a reason, which ties into your fate. And I think we've had some brief discussions about what your fate is. I know we've talked about it revolving around the center of the earth or the hollow earth theory.
Right.
But I don't think we've ever really discussed how these fate tags, the heroic and the doom tags, sort of figure into your playbook or into your character backstory and your future. And we're supposed to kind of have some idea of what this means so that when you spend a point of luck or you're killed in combat or whatnot, that we can bring these doom tags into play. So what I'd like you to do is tell me a little bit about what you think your fate is and how you think the heroic tags and the doom tags apply.
Okay.
And yes, I've got a munchkin invading my seat back there.
It's around the back.
It's
Okay.
Michael Zilla.
I'm going to go with the doom first.
Michael,
I believe that the world is doomed, that evil will attempt to prevail, and the reason I'm here is to help prevent that.
okay. And treachery. So treachery and damnation. I've been kind of rereading over these tag sections, sort of as I'm putting together sort of a moves library, mainly to make it easier for me to look these things up, but also for other people once I get it kind of functional. I kind of reread all this, and I've noticed that it seems to me like these tags apply to you. So, for instance, if you were to spend a point of luck in this, or you actually spent 2 points of luck in the last mystery, so I should be bringing in these heroic tags to play. And I think the way I read it now is these should apply to you per se, like treachery and damnation directly to your character. So, like, how might you end up damned, and how might you be affected by treachery or be treacherous to another?
I think that may show itself as I might want to join the dark side somehow.
I like that. So being tempted over to what is the dark side in this prophecy?
I'm thinking it's the devil, it's demons, it's Satan.
That kind of ties into some of our other players' background. I can see that being kind of interesting. Okay, and so how about your mystical inheritance? How do you think that applies to your character?
Mystical inheritance is the magic that runs in the family line.
All right. So do you have any other ideas or things you want to contribute to that right now? Or does anybody else have any ideas that they think fits into the idea of our chosen's fate? Or we leave it at this point for now?
Well, remember that he is mentioned in prophecy in the sect. So that's one of the reasons that I keep an eye on him.
That's true. You've been kind of tasked with following following him and all that. That's good. Okay, also I want to remind everybody that some of you have start of play or start of session or start of mystery moves.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I made some changes to the playbook, our character sheets, namely like rows 13, 14, and 15. I changed the way harm, luck, and experience, so they're no longer like drop down selections. Now we have like checkboxes, which I think it makes it a little easier to visually track our status. If you notice under harm, the last 4 checkboxes are gray, kind of gray background. What that indicates is once you're into that area, you are unstable. And we would like write unstable, like say Biff took some damage, I would write unstable, into this other gray box until that tag is cleared. At my discretion, I can just apply more damage to you, because you're basically bleeding out or, have limbs falling off of you or something like that.
That sounds inconvenient.
Yeah, it's probably not a lot of fun. Hey, Dion.
Hi.
I don't know if he has audio yet.
Hi, Dion. I heard him say hi.
Yeah, I heard someone say.
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
I'm not the only pictureless person.
I'm just in my dark room, so I just didn't throw my camera on.
Yeah, that's fine. I have stated previously in this session you don't need to use a camera if you don't want to. If you do want to use a picture or a portrait, that's fine as well. And if you just want to have, like you do now with the general name icon, that's okay.
Sure.
It just sometimes causes me to call you by that name rather than your character name, because I'll look down and see that flashing and subconsciously pick it up. So just be aware that might happen. Let me share with you the character keeper. It's a spreadsheet. What I was going to have you do, since you're stepping in tonight as an alternate, and we have a player, actually have 2 players absent at the moment. Wizard Bane's character is a spellslinger, and he was supposed to start with us tonight. So I'm going to have you play that character, if that's okay with you. And
Absolutely.
then if things go well, we will see about introducing you either as your own character or we'll roll that out later and see what happens. So for now, you're jumping in as this character. Sending you the character keeper link. I'm putting it into the chat. I'm putting it in the chat here, so it's not. I don't want to post this in the main Discord server because then anybody could access it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you click on the chat, the window there, you should be able to get to this. Should be the Gears of Heaven roster.
Is this still in the Discord?
No, this would be if you look up in your upper right-hand window, there's like a little blue chat bubble. Actually, upper left hand, there's a little blue chat bubble. If you click on it, it should pop out a little chat window on the right-hand side in your Hangouts window. Are you seeing it? Tell you what, I'll paste it via IM to you in Discord.
Okay, all right. I'm on mobile at the moment, which might be the cause of concern.
That could be. Okay, so you should be able to get to that link there. So this is a Google Doc, and you will be the blue character on the PC sheet, which is a spellslinger. Let me tell you a little bit. First, I'll tell you a little bit about this character as he has it designed. He has 2 levels, and he hasn't picked his 2 advancements yet. So as we play, if you decide you want something or think something would fit in good for this character, you can go ahead and make that choice. He is basically a wizard wearing like 50s style fashion clothes because this game is set in the 1950s. Okay. You have forensic divination, not my fault, and it could have been worse as your primary moves. You have combat magic, which he has defined as blast, 2 harm, magical, close, obvious, loud. Lightning or entropy as a added +1 harm, messy to the base, and a necromantic life drain to the base, which are tags that can be added to your spells. Are you familiar with how combat magic works in this system?
I know a little bit about it just from the Adventure Zone, but I haven't played a spell slinger yet.
Okay,
nor
well,
do we have
this should be fun because I've actually not really had one in my group either, other than my very first session. But the way it works is combat magic is separate from use magic. I could potentially ask you to make a use magic roll if you try to make it do something other than it's intended to do. But for the most part, this is just a weapon. So you use this when you're doing your kicks and ass roll.
Got it.
And it's just treated as the weapon you're using. However, it's got some caveats to it. Actually, no, it doesn't really do that. You do have tools and techniques, and we have that defined as you need a foci, gestures, and incantations. All three of those need to be in play for you to effectively do your spell. And we can kind of decide what those things are as we go forward. I had to find that you have a ritual knife as your focus, but all of that is up in the air because this character has not been played yet. So
Gotcha.
a little bit about the session, the game. The game is currently set in 1953, Madison, Indiana. Several of the party members are actually from the future, modern times, and were sent back in time via a bunch of sessions, things. This is actually probably the 6th or 7th mystery or something like that this group, the core group, has done. And I recently brought this online, and we brought in Denny and a few other people to join us. And now we're trying to do this in an online format. So it's a continuation of my in-person game, but
Sure.
the online game, this is our first mystery, so we are in the second session of the first mystery, and to be honest, they just encountered the first clue, so it'll be a really good time to bring your character in.
We're not even sure what that clue is.
Yeah, I know. So that we kind of ended last session on. Actually, let's just pick up right there. I don't know if Lucifer's going to make it, and if he doesn't, it's pretty easy to exclude him because he. Hasn't really participated yet, so his character's still in the trauma unit. So
let's do Destiny's Plaything.
Yeah, Destiny's Plaything.
Excellent.
All right, so we want to make a roll. Hold on a second, let me pull that move up. On the playbook, I have playbook moves, and Destiny's Plaything is right there. So you want to roll. We're using the Discord server. The game room 4 as our dice rolling area. So, Biff,
I'm rolling.
Would you like to roll?
Here we go.
How many names did you just go through?
2 by 6. I've failed, and I think that means something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that does something.
You get to mark an experience point.
You do get to mark an experience point. So let's mark an XP. Mithril, I think your start of mystery move, which is kind of dealing with the sect or something. No, it's you have
I think that's what it was, isn't it?
No, actually, it's deal with the that was the dealing with the agency one was Rick's old characters. But if you have something else, you have like oh no, you do have deal with the sect.
Yeah,
and you also have fortune.
Right.
I had originally marked the start of mystery move with a highlight color, and now they're gone. So yeah, dealing with the sect, I think it makes more sense to do that the first time you actually interact with the sect during the session rather than right now. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Well, and also I'm wondering too is since we have sent off most of my or any of my team back.
No, because this is. Let's just kind of jump into it, and you'll kind of get the idea.
Okay.
So, at the end of the last session, you guys had sent off 2 of your team members to Indianapolis to the sect's headquarters at the Scottish Rite Cathedral to get more information about this meteor strike and also following up on several other bits of information with regards to the previous werewolf hunt And then what's his name? Joseph's friend or neighbor came in looking for her husband, and you guys trotted off looking for him because he's been missing overnight. You went to his place of business, which was the local heating and cooling company, like a mechanic shop.
company.
Yeah, it's like
an HVAC, yeah.
It's an HVAC kind of place, although it's really early HVAC. Probably deals with radiators and things like that. But yeah, you got to his office. It was all dark. You found a side door had been busted in, and you went inside and came into his office. There was a big, like one of those big old oak desks and a big leather chair. When you swung it around, you found a body sitting in the chair that had been skinned. It was bloody and gooey and yuck, and that is where we faded to black. So you guys are kind of standing around the desk in the light. Everyone's kind of got a flashlight or something like that. And everyone, how do you react to this?
Just sort of jumps back a little, like he's kind of used to gore a little bit just from the previous night, but
Used to it?
I guess a little bit. Like he's kind of like.
Joseph, is this your friend?
Well, I don't know. I mean, his skin is gone.
Is it about the same size?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I guess he is. I would say.
Yeah, I would say he's probably the size, body mass indicate. It's about right. And actually, he's got like a gold tooth on one of his front teeth, lower front teeth, and yeah, it's definitely if you're
Hiram, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely his body. There's a banging at the front door.
I'll investigate the banging at the door.
All right, you. What are the rest of you doing while Biff runs out to check the front door?
Well, I'm going to close the door so that of the office, so that whatever is coming in the front door doesn't see this.
Okay. Biff, you get to the front door, and there's sort of a shadowy figure you're seeing through the glass. It's like a frosted glass front door. Sort of a shadowy figure moving around on the front sidewalk in front of the building.
Okay.
Then there's a rap again on the door.
And all I can see is the shadow. Okay. I'm going to put my foot like 3 inches behind the door and crack the door and peek out.
All right. Dion, why don't you describe what your character looks like?
Okay. So how much has been fleshed out about?
Absolutely nothing. You have completely
nothing.
Okay, let me just tell you one thing. He does want him to be an elf.
I'm going to veto that. We are playing a modern-ish sort of. This is not a high fantasy setting. I'd rather we not go that direction.
Okay, well,
his
there you
name
go.
is very elf-like. Are you sure?
Yeah, he can be kind of elf-like. Pixie-like per se.
Maybe just very attractive.
Oh yeah, he's a very androgynous sort of fair-skinned, youngish-looking, maybe floppy clothes or something like that.
Sure. Quick Google search on 1950s clothing, since I am not super familiar with the genre. So literally nothing's been. Oh, happy. Okay, perfect.
If he's like a young guy, then like leather jackets probably.
Yeah, maybe. I don't want to say greaser, but kind of like.
Well, because he's androgynous, so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Greaser would be way too masculine. Okay, maybe some plaid. I'm seeing some yeah. Yeah, I'm just not super sure on the clothing just yet.
Trench coat? I don't know if it's cold out or.
That's a good question.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
so based on like the combat magic and stuff, he's got some very hard hitting, loud. Maybe he looks sort of expressive. Um, not so much stylish clothes. Maybe a little more on the gothic side.
maybe he's sort of a theater kind of person.
Oh, we do have a university here, so he's like a theater major.
Hey, I like that a lot.
Okay, so yeah, maybe he's kind of a flamboyant kind of, theatrical type of person that you might think. Sort of even a Renaissance-y look. Not Renaissance-y, but Shakespearean sort of
Sure.
thing.
Yeah, and at first glance, you can't tell if it's male or female.
Yeah, and I'm gonna call you Meal. Call you Meal for now, because I don't know exactly how he wants that pronounced, and we can go from there. You have been tracking a monster for several days, and your tracking spell is almost ran out, but you're getting a very strong signal from the other side of this door.
Oh, so I'm the shadowy figure
that
they're about to assault. Okay, great, excellent.
So you just arrived at this heating and cooling establishment here in town. You've been tracking this creature across the country for the last month or so.
Gotcha. So I don't think Male. I don't think he goes in quiet. Based on like the I'm looking at his combat magic here. It's blast, lightning, necromantic. I feel like he's kind of a stroll in and deal with the consequences later.
Yeah, it seems that way to me too.
Sort of person. And so I don't think maybe he like sees the individual through the glass, but doesn't really care.
Yeah.
So he's gonna open the. I'm just gonna open the door.
All right. So the shadowy figure, when you crack the door, Biff, just kind of starts shoving the door in your face to walk in.
Oh, excuse me. Hello.
Why don't you describe Biff to our new friend?
Oh, okay. Biff is wearing 50s clothes, probably, Bermuda shorts and a Madras shirt and some sneakers, carrying a big ugly staff. Kind of nerdy.
I didn't know the Renaissance Fair was this early in the year.
Yeah, you guys definitely get sort of a fellow hunter vibe off of each other. I'm not going to play the scene up for conflict or basically try to say, oh, this might be the monster or whatever. No, we're going to say that you guys can kind of recognize. How do you recognize each other as being a hunter?
Maybe we can just kind of feel the magic or something like that.
Sure. He does. Let's see. Male does have. What was it? Forensic divination. So he kind of feels magic.
Yeah, actually, you would get quite a bit of strong magic off of Biff, especially his staff. There's something not etheric, but rather divine about it. There's some sort of, I wouldn't call it like any kind of Christian type of thing, but there's definitely something of
otherworldly,
spiritual power about it, as opposed to mystic power.
I will move my foot and let him in.
Well, thank you. So, and then is the body within sight?
No, I closed the door.
Perfect.
You guys are standing in the front, like it's a lobby of your typical mechanic type places. Like they sell air conditioning type of apparatus. There's pipes and coolant and radiators and all that sort of thing on display. There's a big counter, and then there's a door that goes into the back, and the door is closed.
Okay.
Now, does that door have like?
Don't go ahead.
Does that door have like a window or a like a faded glass window?
The front, the entryway, the entry door you just came through is sort of a frosted glass kind of door, and then there's two big plate glass windows, frosted glass. One side says heating, the other side says cooling in big black letters. Very no frills kind of thing. There's, you got one of those big calendars with the pinup girl kind of thing on it hanging behind the countertop. And
one of those old-fashioned Coca-Cola machines, only it's brand new.
Exactly. Sitting off to the side.
So Joseph and Mithra can see out into like.
What's Joseph and Mithril, and which of the NPCs was still with you guys? Your team members, I think.
Oh, I didn't think we brought any of them with me because we sent Raphael and Andre back.
Yeah, you had 3, and brother Newman.
Newman was doing something, I thought.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think he was with you guys.
Well, no, Newman chopped off a chunk of rock, so we sent him to Indy because his hands were burned.
Oh yeah. Okay. So all 3 of them went to Indianapolis?
Well, I'm not sure what happened to Andre.
I was thinking one of them was with you.
Let's go with Andre.
Okay, so
Andre, I remember making a suggestion to have him open the door last time.
Yeah, I just remember one of them being here. So let's see. Newman went to Indianapolis, and Raphael went to Indianapolis. And Raphael will get there today, and Newman will get there tomorrow. And Andre is with you. So would you guys like to search the rest of the place, or you're both listening at the door? What do you guys have in mind?
Mail's going to walk in and kind of look around and say, man, I knew they robbed us. Sorry, I knew they were monsters at the bank, but I didn't think I'd find anything like that here.
What? The bank?
Can we do investigate a mystery?
Absolutely. How are you going to do
that? Well, I want to find out what happened to the guy in the chair. Like all of those questions, really. So basically, we kind of want to look around the office and look around the back and see what we can figure out.
Okay, so you guys going to start, investigating around the primarily the office area, and looking around that area. Okay. Well, while you get, actually, let's go ahead and make your roll, and then I'll go back to the front room and see what these guys are doing.
Okay. 2d6.
Yep.
Joseph, do you want to help out in any way, shape, or form?
Do
you have any ideas how you might?
So I guess I would
investigate mystery.
I think I'm gonna kind of investigate the like area around the body, kind of seeing if there was like any signs of a struggle or if he was just dozing in his chair and something snuck up and ripped his skin off.
So I got a 5, and I can add sharp to that, which is 2, so I have a 7.
A 7. So that's a partial. You get 1 question on the investigate mystery roll, and so I will allow Joseph to do a help out roll. Well, actually, it wouldn't even really make much sense. You guys are just risking a 6 and only getting a +1. So yeah, just leave it be. You were semi-successful, so you're going to do an investigate mystery roll. Where's my?
Actually, I'm going to hold my 1 right now until I find out more
find some more clues.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's flash back to the front room with our wizard and our chosen. What are you guys up to?
Well, I think we should just head into the room in here. He already kind of knows what's going on.
You're not going to introduce yourself?
Yeah, you're just going to talk to him?
Hey, I'll hold my hand out and shake to gesture to shake his hand and say, "I'm Biff. Biff Cannon."
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'd say Andre's in there. He just stares and doesn't say anything.
Mal will kind of give a look around and say, "Oh, my apologies. Sort of rude of me. Mal, you can call me Mal."
Mal, follow me.
Okay.
Aren't you gonna ask him why he's here?
No, I can feel it
Oh, okay.
through that.
So what do you guys know that I don't?
Well, I know there's something weird going on in this room. Come on in here.
He'll follow him in.
All right, so you guys come back into the main office. It's getting a little cramped in here, so maybe. Okay, so you're all kind of squeezed into the office, looking around. Joseph said he was like looking for signs of a struggle, and I'll tell you right now, it doesn't look like what you would call a struggle. I mean, the desk is fairly neat, stacked with papers and stamps, like the big rubber stamp kind of things, and there's tools and bits and stuff. And I mean, the floor's a little dusty, but it's not like ridiculously dusty. I mean,
there's no blood on the floor.
There's blood around the chair and where the body is, but it's more like drip, not like splatter.
Is there any footprints left over from either in the dust or in the blood?
Doesn't seem to be.
I mean, usually if you have even a scalp wound or something, it bleeds like crazy. So I'm thinking there should be more blood than that.
Well, it doesn't look like. I'm gonna have to make you spend one of your hold there if you want more information out of me about the body.
Okay, well, very well. Then I'm going to ask what happened here.
Well, it looks like the body was filleted, or the skin was filleted off, but it was done so both while the body was completely relaxed and unresistant, and whatever skinned the body also caused the blood to coagulate nearly instantly. So I mean, it's not like it was just arterial spray. I mean, it just took the skin off, and now that you're looking more closely, there's a cavity in the back of the head, and the where the brain should be is empty. The tongue is gone, and the heart has been removed from through the back.
Through the back.
Oh, wow. So, does it look like there are any burns or any like cooking or anything like that? Like it was a hot blade or a laser or something like that?
If there was, it's been removed.
That's pretty gross.
Mr. Theater, what brings you here?
You mean he's not with you?
No, we've never seen him. I've never seen him before.
There was you've been tracing. Let's see, where were you? You were in Pittsburgh, and there was another murder almost exactly like this one. You've been tracing it. You've been following a tracking spell. I don't know how much that you want to share, but we'll just say that that's what you've been doing.
Oh, Mayal's been tracking it from Pittsburgh. Is that what you were getting? Yeah. Like my character was doing that?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So you've been using. Have you ever watched the Dresden Files or read any of the books?
No, I've heard a lot about it. But
okay,
no.
So he's able. That's one of the things you can do with use magic is like do something that's beyond human limitations, and in this case you did sort of a big magic to form sort of a tracking spell by using a bit of blood or something you found, and
sure.
Yeah.
Where are we at currently?
You're currently in the Midwest. You're in Madison, Indiana.
Okay.
Which is right on the Ohio River, across from Kentucky. It's basically the middle of nowhere.
Oh well,
It's a beautiful little town, actually. I've been there a couple of times.
I've been tracking something. I'm not sure exactly what, but I've been coming through here from the East Coast and just can't seem to get a beat on the damn thing.
So why were you tracking it? What are you tracking?
That's a good question. Those are both great questions, and I guess we'll figure that out once we find her. So what do you say we get to business there, eh, sweetheart?
So, was he missing his brain, his heart, his tongue, and his eyes?
No, his eyes are still there.
Okay.
Oh, but he doesn't have eyelids. I just realized.
Ooh.
Got attacked by my ex-wife.
Oh God! What an image.
Oh, Hiram, what have they done to you?
So, Neil, you had something similar to this happen in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, you could say that. There was a lot less of them, but
there was actually 3 in Pittsburgh. 3 of these similar bodies were found, but you didn't get brought into the case till the last one, and the body had it was found much later than this one. It was already decomposing, so there was your tracking spell got a bead on the creature, but you weren't able to get any additional information about what kind of creature it is or anything like that. You just know it's something from the supernatural world.
So I know there's a supernatural creature causing these, just not sure what and how.
Right.
Okay. Or where it is.
So you were called in to investigate this? Are you with the Priory or the agency?
That's a good question, Keeper.
I'm going to say that he's a free agent. You are, being from sort of out of time, you were definitely not aware of this individual. And I'm also going to say that he's unaware of the Priory. The Priory, if they know about him, they've been purposefully keeping knowledge of them from him. He's a loose cannon. They don't quite trust him.
Well, who called him in?
I'm the guy that call in when they have no idea what they're getting their hands into. You know.
The police call you in?
Sweetie, the police.
He doesn't look like any police to me.
Well, that's why I'm like, who called him in? How did he get involved in this?
One of your theatrical patrons was aware that you have some sort of a reputation of being supernatural and being able to divine the truth about things. Maybe you helped his wife find a wedding ring, and then when his cousin vanished, and then the body was later found, they brought you in to investigate it, kind of as a poor man's private eye.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Were the bodies that from the previous murders, were they in a building, or were they kind of scattered around? Were they or was one of them outside, or were they in their bed or in a chair, or?
Are you asking male? Because
I'm male or keeper. I don't really know.
Yeah, because I'm not. I have no idea.
Well,
I
could sit here and spin fiction all day long. I just don't want to ruin the whatever canon.
I am of the mind as a keeper that my players have complete agency. If you guys want to throw fiction out there, I'll run with it. If you say something that I think is going to cause an issue or take us off track, I will bring it up. So feel free.
Perfect. Well, let's just say I couldn't throw you, or I couldn't trust you as far as I could throw you. So you guys show me a little bit of good faith, and you'll get the information that you guys need. How about that?
Well, it sounds like we all have this similar problem here. So what do you need?
Oh, I need some show of good faith. See, there's some shady types out there, some hunters that can't exactly run with the pack, you know what I'm saying? So, you guys show me what you can do, and I have some abilities that I'm not sure you guys would take too kindly to.
Well, I've got an extensive knowledge of at least mythology. I was asking because there are a couple monsters that kind of have this MO, and I was trying to narrow it down.
Okay, mythology. I can roll with that. All right. What do you do, sweetheart?
I come from an ancient organization. No, I'm not going to say that actually, because if we've been keeping, actually, I start to say that, and then Andre looks at me and shakes his head. Okay. And I'm like, okay. I was also called in to deal with similar activities in other places.
Well,
I don't know. Can I show him my tattoos with all my arcane symbols? Would that help?
Yeah, you can. It's up to you. I mean, you can show him whatever, and you can explain that you're part of an organization that, keeps the world safe from this type of, infestation. Whatever you want to explain. I'll leave it to you guys to decide if you buy it or don't buy it or what have you.
Well, okay. Well, I was raised in a closed community of people that believe in monsters, and when I became old enough, I found out that monsters were real, and I've been hunting them ever since.
Yes, I'll be right.
That's real admirable of you. I'll admit that. Okay. Well,
in fact, we just did in some werewolves. I'm surprised you didn't hear about that, or your little tracking thing didn't catch it.
Well, I feel like I would have known about werewolves. I mean,
well, in all fairness, you weren't anywhere near here when that was going on.
Yeah, he's very full of himself, I've decided.
All right.
He kind of expects that people... He's kind of the guy that everyone says they want to hang out with him, but they don't really actually try to. It's just to get him to stop talking. So just say, okay, all right, werewolves, I can get down with that. I've got some abilities. I ran with the theater flock down over in the bayous, as we know, the barrios. There we go, that's better. And
there's a bright flash.
Let's just say I can do some magic.
You guys look over, and Andre's walking around photographing everything with one of those big old pop flash cameras.
Perfect.
This seems to be punctuating what you say with the light bulb.
He strikes a pose.
Group shot, everybody get in.
It just overcame me.
Well, it'll be very handy to have another magic user around.
Another? Well, all I can say is you just watch it. You stay behind me. I got you.
That's good, because we usually only do small magics.
I'll show you a little bit of magic here. What are you saying? And he kind of gives her a little wink. Finger guns.
That's when I open my jacket and show you my guns.
Oh, she's feisty. Okay. So what do we know about this thing? All I could really get a beat down in Pittsburgh was that it took 3. There were 3. They didn't call me in until later. I don't know why. I mean, the most.
Do you know if there's any connection between the victims in Pittsburgh?
We couldn't find anything. There just wasn't, and I think I'd know, but there wasn't nothing that I could tell. No immediate connections that were popping out on me. I kind of had to hightail it over here because I can only keep tracking this thing for so long before I lose it.
So, since you are tracking it, does it end here or is it still moving?
I'm not sure. I just arrived in town not too long ago.
Well, one thing you can tell is that for your spell having run for so long that it just basically petered out as you arrived at the front door here, that it must have been here very recently.
Okay. What I can tell you is that it wasn't here too long ago.
But it's not still here?
Not that I can tell.
So, Joseph, what are we going to tell Mrs. Smith?
I don't know. I guess it's possible that we could say that he was in an accident here. I mean, there's fans going around. I don't know a whole lot about mechanics, but I'd imagine that can't be good.
The
Maybe
boiler blew up.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he's been scalded and his skin is gone? I mean, maybe we should take him back to the infirmary. We can't leave him here. She'll come here eventually.
Yeah, I would like to ask questions on of her about his behavior before this.
And we can't tell her that we found him like this.
No, we really can't. But we can't just leave him here. But we can't just like hide.
I mean, we can't let the authorities see this either. What would they, I mean,
I don't know how they would even begin to comprehend what happened.
I mean, in my own time, I have connections with the local authorities, but not here.
I'm sorry, your own what?
Time. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Andre, do you have any local connections with the law enforcement?
Actually, when you turn around, he just walks into the doorway again. He says, ma'am, we have another.
Oh, no.
Another victim?
Another victim. This way, please. And he walks towards the broken doorway where you guys came in. And slightly around the bend from the door, there's a big dumpster. And inside the dumpster, there is actually several other bodies. There's 2 or 3 that look to be fairly old, maybe 3 or 4 days worth of, and then another one that's about as fresh as the one that's in the other room.
Oh, God, how did nobody smell this?
Oh, it smells pretty bad. If somebody,
Yeah.
But it's a dumpster. Dumpsters are not known for their aromatic bouquet.
Can we tell like the sex of the bodies or?
Actually, they're all male.
So how many more of them are there?
There's a total 3 more in the dumpster, and plus the one, and you guys haven't searched the entire place yet. So,
Oh, I thought it was pretty small.
well, there's you got as far as the office. There's also a big storage room that you guys haven't been into yet, and there's the front lobby. Yeah, so there's only one room so far that you have not investigated.
Well, let's investigate it then.
Okay, well, actually, the investigate's pretty easy. There's just a bunch of pipes and stuff. You do find, you guys do find a sort of dingy corner that there's like a crate that's been busted open, and there's some like old dirty rags and stuff in there, and it's all coated with like an oily goo.
Does it smell like motor oil?
No, it does not smell like motor oil.
Is there any like labelage on the crate pieces that we could see, like where it came from? Or?
There's like no packing slip or anything like that. It's just like a generic crate. You can assume that there was some kind of large pump or something like that in it at one point in time.
Are there any packing materials in there? Straw, things like that?
No, not anymore. Just a bunch of rags.
How big is this crate?
It's maybe not 6 feet. It's probably about 3 feet by 3 feet.
So it's definitely big enough for a person to go into.
Yes.
They're small.
So what are you thinking?
Could I?
How old does the crate look?
The crate looks like it's probably been here. It's not like ancient. But it's also not like brand spanking new. It's got about the same amount of dust and as all the other boxes that are around.
So it doesn't look like that it was opened recently or dragged in there recently.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not been open like in the last few days, but it's also not like weeks or months old. It's probably a week at the most.
So
Maybe
it
a
is
little
open
older.
though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
one side of it is just flat out open, laying on the floor, and like I said, there's a bunch of rags and stuff piled up on it.
But we can't figure out what was in there.
There's no real clue as to what was originally in there now. You could probably go to the office and dig around and look for some paperwork or something.
Well, there's no identifying. Yeah, are there any identifying marks on the crate? You said there was no packing slip.
Yeah, it's just a generic crate. There probably was a packing slip at some point in time, but it's not there now.
Now, I like Joseph kind of turns to the group like, if there are a lot of bodies, how did nobody notice these people are missing?
It's a good question.
Maybe they're not from around here, except for Hiram.
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, we've had a lot of people going missing lately with all the werewolf stuff.
Well, there's definitely over the last several months been a lot of grisly murders in town, but those all seem to have stopped a couple of nights ago.
Or are the grisly murders, they match their murders from the werewolves, or does it match this?
The werewolves were kind of running rampant for a few days. There was a slaughter at the local burger joint. There was a bunch of hobos killed down under the bridge. A few other things like that. That's been all over the newspapers and everything. People have been scared, but you actually know that situation has been dealt with because you've seen the aftermath.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could try. Should we try to identify the bot? I don't think there's really any identifying features on the bodies, are there?
Well, there's nothing.
No skin, no brains, no tongue, no heart.
Oh, yeah, are they all in the same condition? Are they all missing the same things?
Same exact condition.
And there's no skin anywhere.
No skin.
It's almost as if they took their identity completely.
Oh.
Yeah.
1950s identity at that time.
No fingerprints.
No fingerprints, no... basically who you are as a person, your voice, your brain, your heart.
Yeah.
It seems almost symbolic.
But are there teeth? There's dental records.
There are teeth.
There are teeth, yeah. You could potentially get dental records, but you're going to have to...
What are we going to gain out of identifying who they are?
Because there may be a connection between them.
Can I use my preparedness move to get find a putty of some kind?
Yeah. You probably you guys brought the bread van. It's parked out front. You've probably got all sorts of, gear in there. So if you want to run your preparedness move, let's see.
I mean, before we would even do that, I mean, do we want to do all this here, or is there any way to take this to a better location?
Well, it's broad daylight. I don't think moving a dumpster full of skinned corpses would look too good on our end.
No. But, I mean, are we going to leave it here for someone else to discover?
Well, what do you think we would need from this place? We would probably need records to help dental records to help identify.
Did they do that in the 50s?
Actually, I do not know if they did dental records.
Bite marks, historic. I don't know much about bite marks, but I know that ancient civilizations sometimes use bite marks as identifiers. So I'd imagine that the idea would sort of exist.
Yeah, let's say that it does exist. It's in its sort of rudimentary form. I mean, dental technology wasn't exactly at its peak back then, but they could do fillings and things like that. So assuming these guys went to a local dentist, you could probably...
Yeah, but how are we going to get the dentist to give us his records?
Yeah, you might have to do some convincing there to... plus, there might be more than one dentist in town.
This little bitty town?
It could be a couple. You never know.
Now, do these corpses, they don't have any clothes with them?
No, there's no clothes.
So when they skinned them, did they remove all the parts
Well,
too?
there is a big pile of gooey rags in the other room there.
I'm gonna roll and investigate a mystery on those rags and kind of like just.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so it's 2d6, and then I can add 2 for my sharp. Oh, that's a nat 12.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh boy.
So describe your investigative techniques as you investigate this box of rags.
Well, I guess I kind of take a look at the goo. I probably kind of dip it, kind of touch it real quick and then draw it back to make sure it's not like a corrosive of some kind. Is it a corrosive? Or
it's not really corrosive. It's more like a lubricant, but it stinks.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I kind of like bring it up to my nose, kind of like give it a sniff, and I guess I would.
Let's go with the follow-up on a clue rendition of this. And so you have 2 questions or 2 holds. Here's the questions you can ask. What caused this? What is being concealed here? Does this refute or affirm something I know? What other clues are here that I may have missed? What is the best way to learn more about this? Who else is caught up in this? What will this lead to or cause? And why was this done? Some of those don't make sense in this context, but some of them do.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find the.
It's on the basic moves sheet.
Yeah.
The very first one.
Oh, okay. So follow up on a clue. I'm gonna go with what caused this.
Okay, so this because you're investigating the box, and the rags and everything. These were clothes, but they've been shredded, almost like they've been put through some sort of like cotton shredding machine. They've been sliced into very small pieces and piled up, almost like making a nest of some sort.
So it wasn't like an explosion. Okay.
I was thinking an animal.
It's definitely sliced up by something very sharp.
So maybe these people were wearing these clothes when they were flayed?
Possibly, but maybe not. You don't know.
Do they have blood on them?
There is no blood on the clothes, but there is this blackish brownish goo.
I'm also going to say, what is being concealed here? If it's some kind of nest.
What is being concealed here? It looks like the identity or the evidence of the missing clothes is probably being concealed here. It also looks like this was sort of a possibly a nest or some other kind of resting location or transformative location.
Oh, like something transformed from a worm into a butterfly, a caterpillar to a butterfly.
Something pupated here.
Yeah, ew.
All right, and are those the only 2 questions I can ask for?
For the time being, yep.
All right. Cool.
Well, unless somebody else wants to do it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Was there anything like this in Pittsburgh around any of the bodies that you found?
Yeah, but I didn't really think too much. Like the shredding of the clothes just seemed like it matched the vicious, what it looks like filleting of the skin. I guess I didn't look into a possible nesting place.
Yeah, we'll say that you actually, when you came across the body, it was already in the morgue. You had a buddy at the morgue there that let you in after hours, and you were able to cast your spell to set up the tracking, and the thing was already on the move.
So they're late for that.
Yeah. So it knew you were after it, so it hightailed it out of town.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't come across any sort of nesting ground like this.
I wonder if there's more than one. If there's one there and this is another one here.
That would make sense. There were multiple bodies back in Pittsburgh, and here we have several. Could be a attack, I suppose.
So is it eating the skin and the organs, or what?
Or is it wearing the skin in the organs?
That's true.
Oh,
Whatever it
That's-
is, it can't. It has to
Puts
be able
the
to get
lotion
close
on
to.
its skin.
There are some creatures that do wear the skin of their victims as a way to get close to other prey. At least in mythology.
Well, if
what is
that's
going
the
on
case,
with your
then-
mic tonight?
who's?
So, Danny, are you guys hearing a real bad echo when he speaks?
No.
Oh,
Huh? So just me?
So if this creature is possibly wearing the skin to get close to someone, then Mrs. Smith could be in danger.
She could, but all of the victims are male. There are,
That's what I'm saying, is that if whatever this is wearing Hiram's skin, he could be going straight home to Mrs. Smith and the kids.
Very good point.
we should probably get back there as soon as possible.
Right.
okay.
Is there anything else that we need here?
I think
Yeah.
it's probably more important to head back to Mrs. Smith right now. I mean, if someone else comes and discovers the body, we'll deal with that then. If it's still here later, we'll take it back, under the cover of dark. But right now, I think it's important to get back to Mrs. Smith.
Right. Let's go.
All right, so you guys all pile in the bread van and you skedaddle across town. You guys need one of those little blue sirens on the top. All right, so you guys arrive at that. Joseph, what does the Smith household look like?
Oh, it's just your average suburban house, kind of like I'd imagine a white 2-story Cape Cod with a little yard, maybe like a tree in the front yard,
And a tire swing.
Yeah, just pretty much the most pleasant, happiest little house
Pleasant.
you ever did see.
Pleasantville,
Yeah.
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 Awesome. Okay, so you arrive in front of the house. It's got a little white picket fence with the front gate, and there's there's a little front porch and the main door, and there's like a bottle, a little metal rack with several bottles of milk sitting out on the front porch there.
Are they full or empty?
They're full.
Oh,
So Mrs. Smith hasn't picked up her milk yet.
I get a little bit worried. I kind of reach into my, kind of grab from my gun, like my 38 that I brought.
Joseph,
right.
I think knock on the door. Let's just talk to Mrs. Smith and tell her that we haven't
Yeah.
found him yet.
I'm going to start heading towards the back door.
That might be a good idea, just in case. I rap on the front door. Mrs. Smith, are you home?
There's no answer right away.
Right away.
You wait a few minutes.
I peek in the window, trying to see between the curtains.
Yeah, the curtains are all drawn. You
I
can
rap
press-
again. Now, I'm trying to think how close we would be if she would tell me where the spare key would be.
Mail? Do you
Well, I was going to say
sense anything?
it's the
Yeah,
fish.
you probably, since you've been over to their house many times, perhaps you know that they keep the spare key under the white rock in the flower garden.
All right, so I go over and flip the rock and check to see if the key is there. Is it?
Yeah, there's a key there.
All right. So I grab it and unlock the door and kind of fling it open, kind of desperate at this point.
All right, so you fling the door open, and just about that time, Mrs. Smith comes walking up the sidewalk with 2 big bags of groceries.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, hello, Joseph and Joseph's friends.
Hi, Miss. Hello, Mrs. Smith.
Let me get the door for you, Mrs. Smith.
Saw you with the groceries. We wanted to help out. Here, why don't you hand me a bag?
Yes, I apologize letting yourselves in. I didn't know if you were home or not.
Oh, come in. Did you find Hiram? and she'd lead you in the front. The living room is kind of it's a little bit musty. It's a musty little. There's a big old easy chair, and there's a upright TV. The TV is like one of those old fashioned. Well, to you guys, to two of you, a really modern, black and white set. To the other two of you, it's something that belongs to the Smithsonian. And through an archway into the kitchen, there's one of those, metal, stainless steel tables, and the old pull-out icebox refrigerator. She sets the bags down on the table and turns back on. Would you all like some tea, dears?
Oh, please, some punch.
Just water for me, thank you.
Okay, so you hear her rattling. Well, have a seat, and she's rattling around in the kitchen.
Joseph, why don't you help her put the groceries away?
Of course, yes.
I'm gonna go check on Biff.
Okay.
Okay, Biff, what are you doing?
I'm just hanging out by the back door, waiting for somebody to try to bolt out.
All right. Well, the backyard is there's a big garden and freshly tilled soil. Doesn't seem to be a lot planted there. There's a big old orange tree and a rain barrel and a little path that leads to the back gate and off into the woods.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sidle over to Mail and ask really quietly if he can sense the monster here.
Can I roll to investigate the mystery here? See if I can
sure.
A beat on some stuff. All right.
I think we're
What do we got here? So we got a +1. Do the roll thing.
Woohoo!
Hey, check that out. Okay.
Freaking, is that another 12?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, I like how you added the +1 in there. Nice job.
This is a lot better than our last session went.
Oh, I know, man. How many 6 minuses did we roll?
All of them.
Terrible. Bert, 3 points of luck or 2 points of luck. So if you look at the spreadsheet, there is a tab called Basic Moves. There is a follow-up on a clue is the one we're using until we identify the monster.
I like it. I like it a lot.
We switch to the other one. So.
Okay. So I have a 2, right? And I also have for my
you can also add a magic. Is any magic been worked here?
Okay. I also have forensic divination. Yeah. Okay, that's it. So let's see.
Yeah, you've got some useful skills for this.
Yes, absolutely. What other clues are here that I may have missed?
I know what I want to say here, but you actually don't know that. So.
Based on the contact, based on him standing in this woman's living room, is there anything?
Yeah, based on the living room, something feels wrong, right? So the question was, is there anything here that I've missed? Mm-hmm. There's an upstairs to this house, and no one's been here. And you can tell from looking around that there probably should be a kid.
Yeah. Where are the kids?
Okay.
How many children did she have? Did we establish that before?
Joseph, did we establish that? I think that she's got one kid, a daughter that you were tutoring. Or was it a son?
It was a son that I was tutoring. But also, didn't we establish yesterday was a Friday? Wouldn't he be in school?
Yeah, maybe the kids could be in school. Actually, I forget what day of the week it is.
I thought it was the weekend.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be the weekend at this point too.
Okay, I thought that was Friday, but
yeah, let's say it's the weekend. That's good. It's Saturday morning.
Mayo will pipe up and say, "Mrs. Smith, where are your children?"
Yeah, is Jimmy home? I'd love to see him.
Yeah. He is off with the neighbors. They went to have a picnic and do some fishing.
Oh, that sounds like an eventful day.
Yeah, it does.
Do you guys think Miss Smith is who she says she is?
Are you saying that out loud?
Yeah, who are you saying that to and where? Can she hear you say that?
Mrs. Smith, which neighbor did he go with?
Oh, the neighbor.
Oh yeah.
Let me think. The Browns.
Now was that whole pause?
Across the street.
Was that just you coming up with a name, or was that
That was me trying to come up with a name. Let's see.
Oh, that wasn't you acting like Mrs. Smith, not knowing.
Yeah. Let's say that she was a little bit like, maybe there's a bit of a delay, but not as much as I throw in. It was more like an absent-minded grandma kind of delay rather than a
trying to come up with
suspicious. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I'd like to use my other hold on what is the best way to learn more about that.
Well, I'm going to give you two possible answers here. Actually, you could possibly work some magic here to identify if there's something else amiss, but that would be very obvious to Mrs. Smith. It would also possibly be a good idea to search the rest of the house.
Okay. And all right. Okay. I'm gonna try to slip away from Mrs. Smith and just take a peek around.
Okay. Are you gonna be really obvious? I mean, like stealthily, or are you
It's gonna be a little kind of like once she's like kind of in conversation with someone else in the house.
I'm gonna actually ask you to make me an act under pressure to slip away without being noticed.
Sure, I can do that.
While he's doing that, could I ask Mrs. Smith? Mrs. Smith, did Jimmy get his report card back yet?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did Jimmy get his report card back yet? I would love to see the progress that he was making.
Oh, that's not until next month, Sonny. It's not until next month.
Oh, okay, I was just wondering.
We really do appreciate all the work you've done in what was it? Geometry?
Yeah. Geography, actually, Mrs. Smith. He's doing very good. He can tell the difference between an isthmus and an archipelago.
All right, so you got a 9, right? Is that what you rolled?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's sort of a mixed success.
Yeah.
You're able to slip away, but you're not able to make it to the basement, but you could possibly go upstairs.
Okay, I'll head upstairs.
All right, so you walk up the stairs, and there's a bit of a creak as you get up to about the 4th or 5th steps.
Lovely.
Mithril coughs.
Right, trying to distract her.
Chokes on her water.
Right, but Jimmy's doing very good in geography.
Sorry.
All right.
Excuse me.
All right, so Mrs. Smith starts setting out the tea kettle. She's like, sugar and cream. And she goes to the refrigerator, brings out the cream and the sugar. And where did your strange friend go?
Shit.
Well, he maybe he went to look for the bathroom.
Oh, honey, it's down the hall to the left.
Thank you.
All right. So, what is our wizard friend's name here again?
Male.
You come to the top of the steps, and there's a short hallway. Looks like you have 2 small bedrooms, a master bedroom, and a bathroom, and like a hall closet. All the doors are closed.
Okay, I'm gonna go to. Okay, so I wouldn't be able to tell which room is which, right?
Yeah, you could probably make some educated guesses at how houses are usually laid out, but
I'm gonna try to nail down one of those smaller bedrooms.
Okay, the first small bedroom is a sewing room. There's like some material, and there's one of those old-fashioned sewing machines that use a foot to to pedal to make the needle go up and down. And there's like baskets of yarn and knitting needles and all kinds of stuff like that.
Okay. Could I check the master bedroom?
The master bedroom, you come in and it's definitely dominated by the wife. I mean, there's pink doilies and the bed is been made, and there's a dresser. There's a wardrobe up against a wall. There is like a water basin and sort of a bowl on the dresser, and maybe you notice that everything in here is a little bit dusty. Probably shouldn't be. Not with a
Dusty
housekeeper like this.
That's not great. Shit. I'm gonna take a peek in the wardrobe.
Okay, the wardrobe. There's clothes, clothing.
That's it. All right.
And there's still the other room.
Sure. I'm gonna go to the other.
In the bathroom.
All right. The other room is actually there are two more rooms. I forgot about something. So there's two more rooms. You open this one, and it is an office, like sort of a little office with a big roll-top desk. And there are papers strewn about all over the place.
Does it look like it was like intentional, or
it
like
looks very much like somebody was looking for something?
Okay. Is there a closet or anything in here?
There's like another like wardrobe, but it's one of those kinds that you open the door and then there's like drawers and they're all like haphazard open and out and about.
Okay. Could I take a peek in the last room, other than the bathroom?
The last room is actually the child's bedroom, and it's there's like a Yogi Berra poster up on the wall, and there's a baseball bat leaning up against the wall, and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's your typical 12, 13-year-old boy's room in the 1950s.
Okay. Take a peek.
It's also a bit dusty.
Okay. I'll take a peek at the
It's all
bathroom.
sounding very weird.
It is, yeah.
I've all been living out in the basement, where the portal to hell is.
Back in the kitchen, what are you guys doing?
So I'm going to ask Mrs. Smith. So we haven't found your husband yet, but we were wondering if you could give us some clues as to how he was acting before he went missing. Like, was he acting strange, or?
Well, Sonny, he said he was going to stop by the library to visit you, and then he never showed up.
Well, right.
I thought perhaps you all went off to have a drink or catch the game.
Right. But like in the days leading up to it, he wasn't acting any different. Maybe feeling a little bit more tired than usual, or something of that nature.
Oh, I can't. He's been working late a lot. He's been working quite awful late. He's got that big contract for Ajax Steel, and he's been doing all the radiator installs out at the new factory.
So that new factory, huh?
Well, they must be keeping him pretty busy then. Has he had to hire on any help?
She's, will you excuse me for a few minutes? And she goes into, there's like a pantry kind of thing, and she goes in to fetch something.
Okay, that's a little weird.
I turn to Mythville. There's something's not right here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I will have to agree. I open up the back door in the kitchen and let Biff in.
All right, Biff's standing outside. What's Biff doing?
I'm just was waiting out the back door just in case.
Biff was smoking a cigarette, wasn't he?
Now are the curtains still drawn so it's kind of like dark in the house?
Yeah, it's very dark and musty and
It doesn't smell.
gloomy.
It doesn't seem like
Yeah,
a lot of life in here.
Yeah,
When's the last time you visited, Joseph?
I visited a little while ago to help
It's
Jimmy with his...
about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and it didn't seem this musty. I think we might...
Actually, the last time they visited you at the library last time.
Oh, okay. This doesn't seem like these people are usually pretty bright and sunny. They wouldn't have these curtains drawn out so secretively. Also, Mrs. Smith's a bit of a busybody and watches people through the windows. I don't know if...
So I'm going to say loudly, you know, it's such a lovely day out here, and I'd like to see the backyard, and I'm going to throw the curtains open.
Okay, you throw the curtains open, and sunlight streams in through the window, you know, reflecting off of bits of dust, and you smell smoke.
Smoke? Oh, no. Whose skin is
burning? Where's smoke? Where's the smoke coming from?
You're not really sure.
Can we sniff our way to it?
Yeah, can we follow our nose?
Yeah, let's open that pantry door.
It seems to be coming from the vents in the floor.
Ooh. The heating system.
Mrs. Smith, I smell smoke. Where's your furnace?
There's no answer.
Mrs. Smith?
Something's not right.
Yeah.
Should we? I guess we should go to the door to the basement.
Well, I think there's 3 of us here. I think where's Andre? Is he just outside with a car right now?
Yeah, he's in the van. Did you tell him to wait in the van?
Yeah, he's waiting in the van because he doesn't know Mrs. Smith.
All right, so yeah, there's like some smoke coming up through the floorboards.
Okay, Joseph, you
it's
check on her.
To get a little bit choky.
We're heading down to the basement.
Okay, so you where's the basement door? Do you know?
I'm going to assume if you. Well, I'm going to say it's probably in the kitchen. So, like, as you walk in the kitchen,
there's a big pantry door where Mrs. Smith went.
Yeah.
And the entry to the cellar's probably through there. Would be your best guess.
Oh, so it's through the pantry?
Yeah. And you guys, I got to take a quick bio break.
Okay.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay with you guys? All right.
Works for me.
Back in 5.
Biff's going to go outside and smoke.
Mm-hmm. I did just realize that the wizard character is essentially Taco.
Taco?
Yeah, do you listen to the Adventure Zone?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. So there's a podcast. They're actually it's these 3 brothers and their dad, and they're like older, and they play like tabletop games. So they did their first arc, which was like this huge campaign that was 3 years long. That was D&D, and one of the characters was a elf wizard that was really androgynous that specialized in like destructive magic.
Yeah, I remember all of Taco's necromantic magic. Wow.
Well,
yeah.
Like the fellow that created this character is supposed to be playing with this. Okay, it was an actual D&D deadly DM, so he probably knows about that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just because it's got the same very similar
yeah.
I love it. Like it's great. Like the theatrics and stuff, especially. I wonder if that's kind of the intention. It's a good vibe though.
I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes because everybody's gonna play a character different.
Yeah, definitely.
I was kind of worried coming into this, picking up some other dude's character sheet because
True.
I just wasn't sure how to. I was hoping there'd be more fleshed out so I could, get into character, but there was no character to get into.
Well, the thing of it is that we've been totally just fleshing out our characters as we go. I mean, I learn new things about my character every time.
My entire character's world gets rocked because I came into this campaign a little late.
Yeah, I mean, he came in not knowing the supernatural was real.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so basically, I did magic and showed him a like a vision of the werewolf that we had just killed to help him wake up and realize that it was real. Pretty much rocked his world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fun, especially because it's like my character, like, he's read about all this stuff, but he's never actually like done anything with it, or like knows that it was real.
Well, and what's funny too is that he does, since he's a librarian, and he works and I guess lives in the library or next to it. But part of what he's done is his character has a haven. So he's got that down in the basement of the library, and he's also got an infirmary there that he's like restored from Civil War era. And
yeah, that's his hobby. It's like historical restoration. He also has I think there was like, isn't in this city or in this town there's like a previous character that
Alexander Lifeson.
That's the founder. Yeah, he has. We haven't used it yet, but he does have a licensed sword.
Yeah, he has
found and is refurbished, so it's fully operational.
Yeah, his cavalry sword, because let's see, me and Biff are the only two left out of this group right now who came from the present. Alexander Lifeson was with us. He was with the agency, but when we all came back in time, he got sent back into the 1800s or prior to that, and that's how he became the founder of this town.
Huh.
And and then there was another girl with us, and in the future, in our timeline, she had already like gotten old and then made a deal with the devil and was young again. So we knew her, and she looked like she was in her 20s, but she was actually much older than that. But when we came back into the past, we lost her future self, and we met her original self here in the 50s.
Okay, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, lots of interesting twists and turns.
It's definitely been a lot of fun. This new format is being a bit challenging for me, as how to deal with this and how to narrate and all that. And I'm also trying to incorporate a lot of the little tricks and stuff we discuss in the Keepers Fellowship. Ideas of how to share narrative control and use questions and all that sort of thing. So I'm trying to improve my own keeping skills in the process. So sometimes I try things, it doesn't work. Sometimes I try things and it works really good. So we'll see how it goes.
Is the follow-up on a clue something of your guys' doing, or is
it's actually, it was created by Rich Rogers, Monster of the Week campaign on YouTube. He is or was a member of the Gauntlet gaming community where I also came from. Okay. Or I was a member. I wasn't actually part of it. I wasn't like management or anything. I was just a member of the community. Yeah. They play a lot of role-play games. He does I think it was called Plus One Forward. It is a Powered by the Apocalypse podcast. And his gaming group did or does a Monster of the Week campaign that's based on the East Texas University. And
I have an episode of that downloaded, and I've been meaning to listen to it.
It's actually really good. I mean, I hope at some point this series gets that that good. Sorry. I'd like to see this really get much more vivid and cinematic and everything, but I'm still learning, and we're all still learning. So most of us come from a D&D kind of background, so we're not quite used to everybody sharing the narrative weight. But
it's a little weird. It's
it's just keep in mind, if you guys want to throw out fiction, like if I ask you something, feel free to run with it. If you go in a direction that kind of doesn't make sense, I can always retcon something. So or say, yes, that, but and then give you a sidetrack. So you guys were running into the pantry. You see that there is a trap door in the floor that's got some smoke kind of blowing up through the cracks. What is Mail doing upstairs?
I think once he had searched out, was there anything in the bathroom by chance?
The bathroom, it's fairly innocuous. Again, it's not as clean as you would have expected it to be. Are you going through like all the closets and like the trunks and stuff?
Because at first it was like there's no reason to find that like they've been used recently, kind of move on. But once he was finished with the rooms, he's gonna head back downstairs because he still thinks that the ruse of him being in the bathroom or whatever is going on. So
Right, 'cause he doesn't know about the rest of it. Can he smell the smoke?
As he starts back down the steps, he does smell the smoke, and he can see a haze. Yeah, it smells like barbecue.
Oh,
Like wood-fired barbecue.
he's gonna head into the kitchen.
All right, so as you come around the corner into the kitchen, these guys have gotten up from the table and are heading toward the pantry. Although, wait, Mithril, you went outside to talk to Biff, right?
no, I just opened the door and let him in.
You let him in. Okay, so you guys open the pantry door. You see the cabinet there, the trap door. You guys are being really noisy. You know that? I'm sorry. They're usually to bed by this time, but so you guys open the closet door. There's like canned goods and all this sort of thing. There's a big trap door in the center of the floor. It's closed, but there's smoke kind of billowing up through the cracks around the edges of it.
Okay, well, I grab a dish towel, wet it at the sink, put it over my face, and head downstairs.
Okay, so you open the trap door. You can see there's a wooden staircase leading down under the house into like the root cellar. The downstairs is lit by fire. You can see that there's flames. The flames are not immediately visible just by looking down the stairs, but you can see something is burning down there.
I mean, that's where Mrs. Smith has to be, so.
Okay, so you're trucking down the steps?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish somebody here had that what could go wrong move. It'd be a great opportunity to earn an XP. So you charge down the steps, and it's an earth floor basement, right? It's not like one of those finished wall kind of things. There's the wooden stairs lead downstairs. There's a stone.
Actually, I'd like to do a read a bad situation.
That's a very good idea. So you hit the top of the steps and you read a bad situation.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is a roll plus sharp.
Hey, who's cooking in here? It smells good.
It's going to be Mrs. Smith's apple pie.
Mrs. Smith.
That apple pie smells burned.
Oh, there's a 10.
All right, I got a 10.
Hey,
read a bad situation. So we got 10, which gives you 3 hold. What's my best way in? What's my best way out? Are there any dangers here I haven't noticed? What's the biggest threat to me? What is most vulnerable to me? And what is the best way to protect the victims? Only a few of these make a lot of sense.
My first one is going to be, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Yeah, you smell heating oil.
oh great.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very likely that the fire was set to cause it to explode.
Shit.
So we call for Mrs. Smith again.
There's no answer.
Let's keep going.
All right, so you come down the steps. There's a bunch of like big wicker baskets full of like stuff, and they're burning, and they're right beside the large forced air heating units, and a couple of drums of like heating oil is there. You see a large casement window on the side of the house has been propped up with a stick, and there's some sort of brown goo seeping down the side of the house from where the window is to the floor.
Not
But
unlike
we don't see Mrs. Smith.
You do not see Mrs. Smith.
Is there a
Talk for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Miss slithered out the window and set this trap for us.
oh gosh. I just realized I actually have a pre-mystery role that I didn't make. The man with the plan.
Oh, well, wonder if you can do it now.
So my nose just started running like crazy.
Yeah, I just noticed. I was just looking at my character sheet. I just realized that I do have a pre-mystery role that I never made.
What's that pre-mystery role?
Man with the plan.
Man with a plan. Let me see what it says here.
And like I was wondering if I could make that roll now, just because this seems like a situation where that would probably be pertinent.
I completely agree, and the same thing I said with Mithril. She has like the prophecies roll, where some of these need to be rolled right at the beginning of the mystery, but I like to roll them when something makes sense. So in this case, yeah, this is a good point to do it. So roll.
All right. I hope I didn't just doom the party by remembering.
Hey, I still got 2 things left.
Yeah, a big burning thing of waste oil right there beside everybody, and time for.
I roll weird, and I don't even have an ad on it. Ooh, that's gonna be fun. It's a 7.
Oh,
what does a 7 do? On a 7 to 9.
It's not bad.
7 gives you a hold 1. Holds may be spent when you need to be prepared already. So you can spend a hold to have you be in the worst place unprepared. What? Oh,
that's on a miss.
Yeah, it's on a miss.
So I gotta
to be prepared and ready. How would you like to be prepared and ready, or do you want to hold the hold till later?
I think I'm going to use it actually, just because it seems like a pretty pertinent time. I'm going to be prepared.
Okay, you're going to be prepared, and I'm going to give you a suggestion. But if you have a better idea, feel free. You notice that there's a big bag of flour sitting at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, see, I was kind of going that way, with saying that I would have a fire extinguisher of some kind, but. It's kind of snapping to action and throwing the flour on the flames as an attempt to, like, smother them.
Okay, I'm going to have you make me an act under pressure roll, but I'm going to give you a +1 because you are so prepared.
Okay, and let's see.
And remember, you're doing sharp instead of cool for act under pressure.
Yeah.
This is to avoid getting burned while you try to put out the fire.
Okay. Roll 2d6 +2. Oh, that does not work. Okay, hold on.
You need a space.
Okay. Oh no! Oh wait, I did.
You didn't do it right.
I did do it right. Oh god.
No, you did. Yeah, that's.
I beefed this.
That is not good. That is very.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's great. It's 15. I don't even know how you got
mark that experience with my hand that it got burned off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use my second hold and what is the best way to protect the victims?
That's a very interesting use of this particular move. I would say you could possibly tackle him and knock, or actually, yeah, it might be a good idea to knock the barrel out of the way.
Whoa.
To kind of dive at that barrel and try to get it away from the fire.
Oh, yeah. Here.
So if you do that, I'm going to have you make an act under pressure to also avoid getting burned.
All right, I'm going to try it too.
And if you succeed, it won't explode, but he'll still get burned a little bit.
Yep. All right. / roll. 2. Nope, done. 2. 2d6.
Okay, I know. Bye.
Yes.
All right. You are massively successful. You almost. Actually, I'm going to give Joseph 1 less. So you're going to take 1 harm for getting burned because that bag of flour turns out that it was like baking soda or something, and it just caused, or dried grease or something, because it just caused it to just explode. But Mithril, seeing what was happening, dove in, knocked you out of the way, so you just got kind of a glancing splatter. And she got that barrel knocked out of the way, so it did not get ignited. However, the walls and the floors are now significantly burning. The rafters over you are all starting to blacken and burn.
So we got to get out of here, like now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, under read a bad situation, it says if you act on the answers, you get +1 ongoing while the information is relevant. What does that mean?
Okay, so in this situation, you have read the bad situation. You have already asked, like, what were the 2 questions you used so far?
Are there any dangers we haven't noticed, and what is the best way to protect the victims?
Right. So while you're still in the scene, it's the information is still relevant. So if you're acting on that information, such as getting everybody out of the fire, you get a +1.
But
Right.
what do you do with the +1? Is it like if I roll something, then I would add to that?
Yeah, exactly. For any roll you make that's relevant to trying to escape this fire based on your reading of this bad situation. And I would consider this bad situation escaping this burning building.
Right. Well, I'm going to use my third one then, because it may not be what I think it is, and say, what is my best way out?
Your best way out would be to go. Actually, the best way out would probably be to go up and out through the casement window. But you're going to need somebody to boost you up. Actually, you're pretty tall, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I think you could probably get up and out of there pretty easily.
But what about everybody else?
I think everybody's fairly tall. I think you guys could all get out through that window if you wanted.
So it's going to be faster for us to go out that way than to go back up the stairs and out the door.
Actually, it would be faster to go out the stairs, out the door, because you could all do it at the same time. If you're going to squeeze out through the window one at a time, you're going to have to go one at a time, which leaves whoever the last person is as being in danger.
Can I, okay, so I didn't really know, like, all the use magic sort of abilities. I'm looking at the Harry Dresden thing, actually, and one of his abilities is to, like, suck fire and heat away from a given area. Could I try to rush down to them and, like, suck this fire out of the area, like, to give us a better chance of escaping without any more harm? Would that be...
Yeah, I think you could probably, given who you are and your abilities, kind of makes sense. So the effects that you have available to you in a basic magic spell, which is not a big magic, like a big ritual or something, is inflict harm or enchant a weapon, do one thing that is beyond normal human limitations, bar a place or thing to a specific kind of person or creature, trap a specific person, banish a spirit or curse or whatever, summon a monster, communicate with something that you don't share a language, observe another place or time, or heal. And in this case, I think banish a curse or spirit or person or object fits. So what you're kind of doing is banishing the fire or banishing the heat.
Sure. Okay.
Right. So you want to try to use magic to do that?
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, the rest of us are going, everybody out.
Everybody's trucking out. Okay.
Right.
Heck yeah.
11. So in this case, it works without issue. Choose your effects. So describe your spell. How are you doing this? What's the spell look like? Give me the cinematic.
So Mael was going. Mael came down, kind of following everyone to see what was going on, and this is kind of unfolding. And he sees that the way out is kind of like he's not sure if we can all make it out of here without being injured. And so he kind of he starts muttering some probably, I'm assuming it sounds like Latin, and he pulls out his ritual knife and starts to focus on it, and does a couple gestures and kind of like opens his palms out and tries to like almost reverse Kamehameha, suck the fire away from the area.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool, and the effect was really powerful. You were really prepared for this. You work your dagger in a circle, and all the fire is kind of sucked into a floating ball in front of you and condenses down into a crystal, like a little round flaming gem, like like a little ball, like a very large pearl, and it's hot to the touch.
Okay.
All right. The rafters of the floor are still somewhat blackened and blistered. The wall and the wicker baskets are ruined, but the flames are out.
Beautiful. Well,
Good job, Mal. That was impressive.
yeah, you're all
himself finally.
So, what are you going to do with that little thing?
I wouldn't put it in my pocket.
I think I'm gonna put it on the wall, on my wall at home to commemorate this wonderful moment. No, we're gonna get this fish or something. Whatever.
In a bucket of water.
Where did old Miss Jenkins go?
Mrs. Smith, and we think she went out the window, and I'm really kind of concerned about what that black goo is, and now I have the time to check it out.
We can follow that black goo trail and see if we can find her.
Joseph, you looked at the goo and stuff on the rags in the other building. Is this the same kind of stuff?
It's very similar.
Yeah, that would be that. That means that we just looked right at our monster, and
you had tea with a monster.
We had tea with a monster. We did.
So, Mel, can you do another tracking spell?
Since I have the Drew here, Keeper, could I try to implement another tracking spell?
Yeah, I think you probably very well could.
Because if we were that close to the monster,
I want to say that this would be use big magic because tracking is not one of the effects of use magic, and I'm going to say that you're going to need a couple of rare things. Actually, let me take a quick.
How about a flaming pearl? A small, high-energy flaming pearl.
That's convenient.
Yeah, handy.
Now you're going to need a leaded glass test tube, and a bit of the goo in that test tube, and then a compass.
Well, I think Mrs. Smith has some leaded champagne glasses up in here. Would that work?
I bet that would work. You might find a compass up in the attic or up in the office area, but if you looked around.
Okay. So I'll relay what I need to the rest. I'll say I think there was an office area upstairs. I'm gonna try to hunt down a compass, possibly.
All right. So who's going upstairs to look for the compass, and who's going to go look for the leaded glass champagne?
Well, I'm looking in the kitchen for the glass.
All right. And who's looking for the compass?
I'll look for the. Mail. Okay, mail.
Yeah, because you've already been up there. You know where it is.
Sure.
Mail, you're probably going to stay in the basement and start chalking out your circle. And you probably also need a few candles, but those are probably easy to come by in this house. So, or you probably have a little ritual bag with you. It's probably got some candle stubs and salt and that sort of thing.
I actually don't. He doesn't have consumables tagged.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You probably okay. So you just need foci, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, that's for your combat magic. But anyway, we can make that make sense. All right. So who went hunt for a compass?
I'll go hunt for the compass.
All right.
I'll inform him in the office which door it was.
What? Okay. Yeah. You tell him. So you go upstairs and you see that there's boxes. And the place is in complete disarray. There's boxes of papers all about, and you go through the doors. You are able to find a compass, but as you look out the window, you see yourself walking up the street and around the corner.
Remember when we saw that duplicate Biff that one day?
Yeah.
And you're wearing a suit of all things.
A suit? I'm going to take a closer look.
Wait,
Are there any binoculars?
Wait, who's seeing the duplicate?
Biff.
Biff. Oh, so Biff is seeing his duplicate again.
You saw it last time.
Oh, he... Okay, I didn't realize I was the only one.
Yeah, Mithril was the only one that saw him. You were looking out the window for the basement, and you saw him like walking up the street with some young lady. And then this time, Biff looked out the window and saw himself walking down the street and then around the corner, up at the stoplight.
Freaky.
What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know.
You wouldn't go chase yourself?
Well, no, I got to get this compass. We got to take care of this first.
All right, so you got the compass. I'm also going to say you can probably recognize that a lot of the papers that look like they're missing are like bank passbooks, like financial documentation is all strewn about. Anything that looks like identification and or like financial records are missing.
Okay.
All right, so you head back down to the basement with a compass, and Mithril finds the champagne flute, and we're ready to work some magic. Actually, this is a fairly simple spell that he is really good at doing. So I'm going to say that you're able to cast it without making a use magic roll. Just you do the doohickey, and all of a sudden the compass now starts to spin and then points in a direction, sort of south-southeast.
Okay. Is everyone kind of around in the area?
Yeah, I'm staring at the compass going, that's more obvious than I was expecting.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about
that's pretty clever.
I'm saying...
Go ahead.
I'm saying to myself, is that the direction that I just saw myself?
Roughly, not exactly.
Okay.
So, what do you guys say? We don't kick this arsonist alien's ass?
Let's do it.
Can you tell how far away it is?
No, it doesn't. It just gives you a rough direction. He's been following a very similar spell across the country. So,
is it like a situation where the compass, like I can carry it with me and it'll like point me in the general direction?
Yes.
Or is it okay?
Or what? What was the other idea?
Or I didn't know if it was like that was it. Like it shows us what direction to go, and then
no, it'll last for the last one you casted lasted for weeks.
Okay, cool. So I'll pocket the compass and head upstairs.
Oh, one thing I will say though is that normally this sort of spell would only last till sunrise of the following day, but you have the ability to wrap it in like a silk cloth to protect the magics and keep it going.
Okay. So he'll
because at some point I might want the ability to wipe the magic spell, at dawn or something like that.
So he would silk cloth on him, right? Or will he?
All right, so you guys come up out of the house. You get back to the bread van, and you guys are off to the races. And it's already 11:36, and I have to work tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so I gotta get going too. I got an early start.
So I suspect at our next session we are going to probably jump almost straight into the first boss fight. So because you guys have a bead on the creature.
Yes.
Poor Mrs. Smith. I wonder where she is.
She may be the creature, like I'm saying.
Well, no, I mean the creature is got her skin on. I'm just wondering where Mrs. Smith is.
I just want to know what the creature is, because it's a very similar parallel to like a real quote unquote legendary creature from South Carolina. It's called a boo hag.
Boo hag, I've heard of
boo
hag.
Yeah, they have no skin. It's like a woman. It resembles a woman without skin, and it slips through a crack in the door of like usually a man's room, jumps on top of the man and sucks the breath out of them while they're asleep. And then after a while, when they want to move on to the next victim, they will steal the skin, wear it, and then walk out and hide it somewhere for later.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
that.
You guys, your characters don't know yet what this is, but I suspect several of you are probably forming an opinion. I think you guys all have decided it's some sort of shapeshifter.
Yeah,
so I'll tell you that this you haven't figured this out in character yet, but you are fighting a doppelganger.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
What the doppelganger is, what its powers are, and what its weaknesses are, I've completely made this up out of whole cloth. It is based on a lot of legends, that I am aware of. Not the Buhag, but the Buhag sounds awesome, and it is very similar to that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just thought that was funny. I just had it in the back of my head.
Yeah. I would strongly recommend trying to find out more about this creature before you actually go fight it. Just
I was just going to think that. Yeah.
Word to the wise.
Research.
But you guys got pretty far. Does anyone have any roses or thorns for this particular session?
Roses or thorns? I've never heard you call it that before.
Well, it's, is there anything in particular you liked about the session, or anything in particular that you would like to see done better next time?
I mean, I've got like a personal both rose and thorn, which is I almost blew up the house.
Actually, I really like that.
I know. That's why I liked it because I don't know, that was my first time like really like getting like a crit fail on a in this game, and I kind of like how the fails work and how like it's very possible to like save yourself, and it's not game breakingly
bad.
Like it's not like D&D where like it's completely out of left field, like absolute failure. It's very much like you can kind of work with it and stuff. It's really
well,
neat.
And also other people can help you too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you did mark XP for that one, right? By the way, I've been following you guys if you're doing that or not. So
yes, I should have. So I got XP from last session, and then this session I would just put one more.
Yeah, did you mark it on the sheet?
Yeah, I just marked it on my sheet. Oh, you mean on the roster?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just following along on my.
Chat. So you have 2 XP. I'll go and mark it for you.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
This just helps me keep track of where everybody is. Health-wise, status-wise, level-up-wise, all that sort of thing.
Of course.
Anybody else got a rose thorn? By the way, you can also give those to each other. It doesn't always have to be for the keeper and the storyline and everything. So if another player does something really cool or something you wish they hadn't, you can bring that up too, as long as it's polite and respectful.
I love because I have a good time like visualizing this stuff, and I loved the like picturing us kind of in this musty, like you do a great job describing the scene. The way that everyone kind of reacts to what, like it feels exactly how it should.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I like cinematics, so I try to.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
I describe spells and their effects really well too.
I try to both be very descriptive myself, and I also try to encourage you guys, to like, hey, give me the description. What happens? What's it look like? I think it's really great when you guys help build, especially like on the spellcaster and the initiate and even myth. You guys have a lot of abilities that you can put a lot of flavor into. How does it work? What is the mythology of it? And as we have more and more sessions, we'll get more and more set as to how these things work. Anybody else?
A lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed myself. Yeah.
Right.
Big fun.
I will throw out mine is I think my favorite scene. I was going to say my favorite scene was the whole, first investigation at the shop, but really, come to think of it, that the fire in the basement, it almost exploding. That was really cool, and I almost made a mistake because I didn't look at my notes before this session. I would have really screwed up. I mean, it would have been really cool for this session, but it would have really screwed up my arc. So I'm glad I did not do that. So I'm not going to tell you what it is until you fight the monster. I'll tell you about it later.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the session, guys. I'm sorry these are really short. Do we want to try to play again next week, or do you want to skip a week and just stick with it?
Well, I think the week we're going to be running into 4th of July.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Let's see. Let's look at the calendar.
So I'm thinking we should do it next week instead of skipping a week.
Yeah, I think that works. That works for me. You guys want to try to meet up on the 27th?
Yeah.
That's good.
And Dion, thanks for joining us. I know you were.
I loved it.
You were an alternate. I would like to see you join this group.
Let me know. I'm more than happy to. You guys are awesome, and this was probably one of the more fun sessions I've had role playing for sure.
I appreciate
not my just coming into a character I've never played before was super weird, but
yeah, you did pretty well with it, and I mean, if you come in as a permanent member of the group, I will have you create your own.
I think I'd like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
This was definitely playing somebody else's character that I wanted to get flushed out to some extent. But both Lucifer and Wizard Bane, neither of them have made a single session yet. So I'm kind of leaning towards giving up one of their seats.
Yeah.
And then allowing them to come into another session later or something. So
yeah, this would have been Wizard's first session.
Yeah, so and I think Lucifer made like session 0, but he hasn't made any of the play sessions yet. I know they want to. People get busy. It's fine, but this is the right size group for me. I think 4 hunters it's actually borderline too big, but it's a really good dynamic. You guys got all the bases covered, and I actually have to put together some pretty tough monsters in order for it to not be a cakewalk. Yeah. Okay. So we'll play again next week, the 27th.
All right. Sounds good.
Dion, I'll talk to you about what we're going to do with your character. But if we continue, I'd like you to finish this mystery with this character, if that's okay. Because you're kind of this character is kind of key to the story at the moment with his tracking spell. And then if we finish this,
I was going to say, what if Axis comes in next week?
Who can pick it right back up?
Yeah, then if that happens, then we can possibly maybe I'll work with Dion to make up a character, sometime this week, so that we're ready with his real character when the time comes. That way, we can shift it back over to Wizard Bane, and then he can come in his, because it just seems like Lucifer's. I know he's really keen to join us, but he's just not being able to make it. He told me this morning he's definitely going to be here today. And then he definitely wasn't. He's
been on Discord playing games, so I'm not sure the issue, but yeah.
It's weird. He is it our Lucifer, or there's 2 Lucifers in Discord?
Pretty sure it's because it has the Lucid F3R.
Yep. He seen him being online.
He's been on the whole time since I was there.
Well.
Just didn't feel like joining us.
Well, who's to say whether or not,
Yeah, I'm not mad.
He's playing Civilizations 5.
Hey, it's very important. It's very important, okay?
Yeah. I don't.
Someone's got to keep Gandhi in check.
Absolutely. As Kamehameha.
All right, so I'm gonna bring Dion in place of Lucifer. We'll drop Anselm for now, and if Lucifer wants to join in a different mystery, I'll bring him in later, and then because we'll kind of kick this thing around. I've been thinking about running multiple sessions anyway, like this group and possibly another group, because I've had other people asking me, "Hey, I want to play with you," and I'm like, "I'm full right now."
You're gonna get busy.
Yeah, so and plus we kind of run every 2 weeks, and I would really like to do this once a week, because this is my night where I actually have a little free time. So, all right, guys, I got to get off because I got to work tomorrow. It was fun playing with y'all.
Okay.
See you on the next session.
Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.